My name is Kelly Westfall, and I have a deer meat recipe that I would love to share with all of you. It's deer pot pie, and what I've done is I've taken my chicken pot pie recipe, but taken deer burger and substituted, and it is really delicious, and I would like to share it with all of you. The ingredients that you're going to need is very, very simple. The ingredients you're going to need is a pound of deer meat, thawed, a small bag of frozen vegetables, 2 cups of cheese, shredded cheese. It doesn't really matter what kind you use. It just depends on what I have in the refrigerator at the time, but I like Italian, mozzarella, but cheddar it's really good also in the recipe. Pie crust. Now you can make your pie crust yourself. I'm not good at the delivery part of it. When I make a pie crust, it's not very pretty. So this is easier, but if you want to make a 2 pie crust, it'd probably be even that much better. And then 2 cans of cream of potato soup. You can get the large can or 2 cans. I usually get whatever the grocery store has. So it's very, very simple. I went ahead, what you're first going to do is you're going to brown your burger. And what I do is I go ahead and blanch my frozen vegetables. Blanch means just to put them in some water, get them hot. Sometimes I even go so far as to go ahead and cook the frozen vegetables. I brown my burger, and to keep it short and simple on the video, I went ahead and I browned my deer burger. I usually season it while I'm browning it. Garlic is my favorite. I think garlic is a staple of everybody's kitchen, of every meal. So my deer burger is usually seasoned with garlic, onion salt, just anything that you think is going to give it a little zip. Once you get your deer burger cooked, usually there's very little grease. I never drain the grease off of my deer burger. I feel like the grease is some of the flavor. So what I do is you brown your deer meat. Go ahead and add your vegetables. Now my recipe that I got offline for the pot pie does not require cheese. Another staple I think that you absolutely have to have in your cooking is cheese. Cheese and garlic and butter are my 3 musts. But you can leave the cheese out if you want to. We like it, so I'm gonna go ahead and add my cheese. So you take your, well, if it's gonna come out, you take your potato soup. I may have to improvise and use the spoon handle, because that's what good cooking is improvising. And let's see. You put your 2 cans of soup in there. I can't believe I'm using the handle of my spoon on a video that I'm going to send in. But it's a memory. Making a memory is what cooking is, what hunting is. It's all about making a memory. So we have the soup. And since I've already used the handle of my spoon, I'm just going to stir it with the handle to avoid more mess. You just stir it thoroughly. I normally put my cheese in last. So you want to thoroughly mix up your burger, your cans of potato soup, and your mixed vegetables. I have a household that boys that don't like vegetables. And this is the one thing that I can make where they don't complain. I've actually made it without the vegetables, and they complain, why are the vegetables not in there? So if you have kids that don't like to eat greens, this is a good recipe for that. And you can camouflage it and just sneak them in, and they'll never know the difference. So you add your cheese, get it thoroughly mixed up. I will send in the recipe. I realize I went through the ingredients pretty quickly, but like I said, it's very simple. No fuss. You could rush home from work, have your meat thawed, cook it in a skillet, get it whipped up. Now, one thing I didn't mention was your oven needs to be preheated to 350. And since everything really in the bowl is already cooked, what I do, the recipe calls for cooking it for an hour. But when I thoroughly cook my vegetables, I normally cook my pot pie about 30 to 45 minutes, depending on the browning of the crust. So, just take out one of the crusts. Let me move this over here. And I am not good at crusts. I consider myself to be a great cook, but when it comes to pie crust, they look like a small child did it. So you're just going to mash your bottom crust down, pat it down, get it to where it's a little bowl, and then you're going to dump your pie crust or your pie filling inside. Looks like some of the meat on the bottom didn't get as mixed up as I'd like. And sometimes if you don't want to add your cheese into the mix, you can sprinkle it on top before you put the top crust on. Just smash that down. My family's had to eat pot pie several times this week because of this video. And they're probably going to squawk about it, but my thoughts are, one more time, I think you can live through it. And then when you get it the way you want it, you just add your top layer. And what I do is I just kind of fold my crust under like a little blanket or a little pillow. And just kind of mash it down to keep it from bubbling out. Maybe crimp it up a little bit. And I don't have a knife with me up here, but one thing that I always do is I always put slits in the top of my pie crust. It gives it a little air, makes it cook a little bit more thoroughly. And that's it. Just pop this in the oven for 30 to 45 minutes, watching the browning. You can leave it in there an hour, but if you're going to do that, I recommend putting some foil around the edges of the crust so that they don't burn. Really just kind of watch it, make sure it's thoroughly, the cheese is melted on the inside, and that the crust is thoroughly cooked and browned. And it's a fast dinner that you can whip up for your family, and it's very, very good. So, I hope that you like my recipe. If you have any questions, feel free to email Queens of Camo. And that's it. Thank you.